Looking across the ditch, we can see that Māori are definitely globally hot. Living the dream and chasing the aunties. Who could have imagined that one day Māori overseas would be keeping up with the Kardashians and the Jonas Brothers? Reality television with inspirational quotes such as, "The more I drink, the better you look." Single to mingle, and who can forget, "Oh, the best I've done is 5 aunties in 5 months." I'm sure of it that we are so globally hot as, wait for it, TVNZ has just announced the release of 2 new series, The Real Housewives of Ngāroa Wahia and John and Willie Take on New York. Imagine it, John Tamihere rocking the streets of New York in his Crocs. With Willie at his side, hosting TV shows like The X Factor. Globally, without a doubt, we are on fire. The tinkling question, however, is how are we doing locally? Well, ladies and gentlemen, fellow competitors, and our illustrious, beautiful judges, most certainly crafted in God's image. Behold, seize your quest for answers, and feast your eyes upon this stage. For today stands before you a man with all the answers. Paulo Freire, a renowned political educationalist, once quoted that the oppressed find in the oppressor the model of manhood. Putting this into context, chasing the dream overseas has resulted in a colonized life far removed from our own culture, where twerking is in and the moteta is out. With a vibrating buttocks now repels the force of Nanny's wooden spoon. Through the promotion of homogeneity, globalization has fostered cultural disorientation as it presents young Māori with foreign cultural paradigms to which they attach, with a search for fame, stardom, and the big checkbook. The challenge for Māori and global engagement is whether we engage as Māori, or whether we're just another fish swimming in the sea of global homogeneity. Unfortunately, for the most part, the latter is the reality. But as with every dark cloud, there is always a silver lining. Māori have been involved with globalization for centuries, in many cases to our own benefit. For example, our migration from Hawaii to Aotearoa proved our global swabians. And our galactic ingenuity put NASA to shame as Runa landed on the moon eons before Neil Armstrong. In our global engagement, however, we need to ask ourselves this critical question. How do we, as Māori, contribute to the advancement of Aboriginal peoples in places like the GC? Or are we, in our search for the good life, becoming what Freire warned as the oppressed, becoming the oppressor, but in a foreign country? Returning back to local Aotearoa, Māori are arguably viewed very differently. I'm not sure whether you remember, but years ago, when Rick Ellis was the CEO of TVNZ, he was challenged that there wasn't enough Māori content on Pākehā television. His answer was, of course, Shortland Street out Police Turn 7. Bang! Māori local content was limited to catchphrases such as, "We little Guatemala now, and Monaco police have a warrant out for the arrest of a man that goes by the name of Muriwizwilchi. Elton John once asked if I could feel the love tonight. Well, on Thursday nights at 8:30 p.m, I sure can't. Only having just finished watching the 6 p.m. news, where they begin with, "Good evening," proceed to tell us why it isn't, then headline, "Māori planning a terrorist plot in the Uruwiras." They got a word for that, it's called campaign. But unfortunately, that's the local perception. But despite all the bad publicity we get here, there are still good, scratch that, great things happening locally for Māori. The Manu Korero, the Matatini, Māori television, Māori radio, the Te Reo channel, where we are no longer backseat drivers in the mainstream media cartel. Although global engagement is an important facet to Māori development, the challenge now, as Sumation Dewey puts it, is how to live as Māori and actively participate as citizens of the world. I'm not sure what Paka thinks, but if his missus was to ask him this time, "Where's my moko?" the answer would be, "A lot he does." Dr. Bird Rose, an Indigenous academic in Australia, once said that all the Indigenous persons needs to do to get in the way of the colonial project is stay at home. Although we may be keeping up with the Kardashians globally, it's time to repel the influences of these OTT drama queens and ground ourselves into our Māori back home. To use an old childhood analogy, basically this whole speech has just been a good old game of go home, stay home, where the global foreigners are in, and our job is to get back home safely before we're all tagged. Tibira, Sonny Ngatai, to your tūranga waiwai, and you stick that flag in the ground and you scream like you've never screamed before. Go home, stay home. 1, 2, 3. Kia ora. Judges, put your pens down. Your job's finished. I'm back. And the topic I have chosen is iPad or pen. Which one would you choose? Well, as a technological person, I'm going for iPads all the way. So please, open your 3 baskets of knowledge and let me fill them with my wisdom. And basket number 1, te kite tuauri, the basket of darkness, I'm going to tell you the bad aspects of having a pen instead of an iPad. Number 1, you can't show off with a pen. The most exciting thing you can do with a pen is click it. Whoa. Number 2, pens are boring. Like I said, all you do is click it and write, I don't know, an essay. You don't need to do that anymore. iPads are in. And number 3, Well, I would have had a third point, but they're so boring that I don't. However, into kete tua tea, the basket top right, I'm going to tell you about why you should have an iPad. 1, you can show off with an iPad, makes you look rich in front of Pākehā friends. Number 2, iPads are the thing of the future. You know, we now have apps where we can communicate with our families that we hardly see. We can see that they were happy at 9:30 today and that they're sad now because they're probably going to lose their money Korero. Also, iPads are now cooler now because they come in cool colours. Pens come in cool colours too, but people only buy blue and red, essay and mark. iPad comes in orange, black, silver, gold. You like the gold colours there? Aye, bling bling. So to finish, in your last basket, to get the aronui, I want you to all rise up. No longer are we going to live with pens, it's iPads. So stand up, and together we are going to promote iPads, because we want them and pens are out. So together we can do it. I'm going to leave you with a quote that Te Puia Heraki said. Me he mea ka moe moe a ahau, ko ahau anake. Me he mea ka moe moe a e tātou katoa, ka tae e tātou. If I dream alone, then I dream by myself. But if we all dream together, then we can achieve. So iPads, kia ora tātou.